I think Swift's intention were to put me out there where people such as himself could hear me. He saw me as the wild buffalo. And the wild buffalo that had not been tamed, hadn't even been touched by humans. I had one feather. That picture that he allowed to be created gave me a dignity, that native Creek American that I carry in my blood cell. All of these things made me want to search to find out the depths of myself. I'm like a pot of gumbo, and I keep stirring myself where I won't burn. Swift helped me stir that pot.
Morning when I'm straight. What's up, bud?
Swift, to me, he was such a brain. He was all over the place. You saw more brain of him than you saw body. This is the way I see him. We got a good ear-rater. Most people say narrator. Ear, he's hearing and making it plain. And I got a little closer, yeah.
It was Lonnie's first U.S. tour, and he was doing a West Coast run with our friends Deer Hunter. We were just about to set out for the tour, and Eric Deines, who now works with us at Jagjaguwar, at the time he was working directly with me and Lonnie, and he had asked if we wanted to go spend a day at National Freedom, which was Richard Swift's studio.
It would be dope if these two could at least meet and feel each other out and maybe make some music. And Swift was in really a moment in his career. He had put out a record with a Jag artist called Foxygen earlier that year. He had done a record with Gardens and Via prior to that on SC that had some success, and had done a bunch of things in between. It was like he was having this sort of like, you know, you can tell when momentum is going your way as a producer.
Not being someone who pays a lot of attention to that, Lonnie didn't know who Swift was.
This was in a moment of Swift's career where he could have just been like, yo dude, I'm sorry, I have a lot more going on right now, but I think he was so inspired by the music and kind of Lonnie's story and what he was, everything around it, that he was just like, absolutely. Tell him to come through. We'll figure it out.
The idea of trying to find some recording time during a tour to capture what's going on in Lonnie's mind and what he's singing about. His music and his songs are always about what's happening in the world and what's fresh on his mind. So the opportunity to capture some of that, and with somebody like Richard Swift, seemed like a great opportunity kind of early in Lonnie's career, and so we went.
I can remember coming up the steps, and I could see myself going back through the door, and here's this. I couldn't say empty thing because all of its inners was there.
The first thing you saw when you walked in, kind of facing sideways, was a beat up piano.
It was an old piano there, without a hull in a sense, or without all the exterior that we normally see around a beautiful little piano. It was just stripped to the bone.
It did look sort of halfway between something you would play and something that would be out on the street waiting for people to pick it up. And Lonnie saw it and walked around it and looked at it and was like, does this work? You know, can I play this? And Swift was like, yeah, man, that's what it's here for. It's for you. And Lonnie just got so excited, and he sat down at the bench, but he didn't touch the keys, and he just kind of looked at it. He was like, maybe later, maybe later.
Okay, so from the time we came in there, I wanted to play that thing. But we did all of these other things. We made all these other little pieces of music.
Started getting late, started to get dark. Lonnie said, I want to go sit at the piano. He said it was then, he told all of us that he had never played a real piano before.
Kind of like first time sitting down and playing on a real piano. I mean, I've tapped on them, but never really took the time to try to bring it real. Not really play it for real, like with a song. But here, it was the first time for everything.
Yeah. So we're gonna want to sing maybe? Right there?
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, do you want to hear yourself on headphones, or you just want to hear yourself in the
right
room?
in the headphones.
Okay, cool.
Swift moved some mics around and got everything mic'd and got Lonnie a mic, and Lonnie just sat down and just poured this beautiful thing out.
I'd never seen a piano like that before. I asked Swift, could I do it? And he said, that's what it's here for. And I'm saying, this is what it's here for? It's here for me?
Took my mind back down so many rivers, back down so many rivers of humankind.
This piano, for me, it's reflection. It carried me straight back to the church, because I had seen so many pianos in the church and never saw one like this one. That was all stripped down to the bare necessities. It's like brain connected with the keys, fingers got ready.
As it read the river.
The whole time, 20 whatever years I've known Lonnie, I've always known him to play keyboards, but it never occurred to me that he had actually never sat down and played music on a real piano.
I had not played any piano up to that point, not real. I had played the keyboard and all of that other stuff, but no real piano.
So that was your first time.
First time. And it made me cry.
Got so brown.
It didn't have an exterior. All the other pianos that I sat down to after that had none had ever been like that one. And I don't think they would ever be like that one.
That piano at National Freedom comes up a lot when Lonnie sits down at, big, beautiful Yamaha grand pianos or Steinways, during sound checks, and he'll look at it and they're incredible instruments. Lonnie will sometimes just look up and say, well, it ain't Swift's piano, and that's a knock to the Steinway.
It's like this piano was there to remind me of this, that I may seem to be empty of something to you, but I'm there to actually give you the sound that you never really ever heard like this before.
A place called the cradle of humankind. Some baby off on on a river.
The piano made itself available to Lonnie when so many other pianos were imposing. And then, of course, the piano's owner saying, no, man, it's for you. Like, not, don't get near my piano. Stay away from there, kid, sir. You know, don't touch the piano. Swift was saying, no, right here. It's here because you're here. Like, it's for you.
This be the way of hallelujah. This be the making the word from the predecessors, from who we call our ancestors, from the anointed one.
I was up, and like around like 2 or so, 3, I saw my phone ring. It was Swift, and I was like, "Oh shit, okay." And I was like, "What's up, man?" And the first words out of his mouth, he just goes, "Dude, thank you." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Thank you so much. I needed this so bad. I've been doing all these songwriter sessions for a minute, and I needed something to knock me upside the head." You know, those, I'm paraphrasing, and like, but that's what he was saying. He goes, "Dude, Lonnie just sat down at the piano and just leveled me."
I know Swift has worked on a lot of records and worked with a lot of great artists, but I think for him to be able to work with somebody like Lonnie, who was just a sponge to ideas and instruments and sounds, and you know, I remember Swift saying, like, asking if there were like where the songs were coming from, and Lonnie's like, I'm just gonna sit down and, you know, like, couldn't tell you what the song is gonna be about because I haven't sung it yet.
Confused by theology. Then I got a book, mythology. I asked, who your baby, who your baby, who your baby, who your baby, who your baby mama now? Who your baby mama now? Then I answered it saying, cold. Titty mama. Okay. That's my first time on piano. Wow. Wow, that was.
Pretty inspired by the piano. You want to play another song on it?
Thank you, man.
It sounds amazing, man.
Man,
The lyrics were, the words were so good.
deep.
Let me come back in here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt, for that opportunity. Thank you, Chuck, for filming that.
Why hadn't I never played the piano before? Because I never had the opportunity.
Y'all can say what you want to say about it. All I can say is something so great.
Man.
Damn.
I've been used, man, because I never played a piano before.
Yeah.
I'm not lying to you. I
No,
never.
I'm-
No, I don't have to lie.
Yeah.
Your wife is there as a witness. Too. I gave her someone. I gave her someone. I'm mainly just showing people what you can do. Especially musicians, I just say to them, whoever practicing to be whatever, be the very best you can be. It's not about, I don't know my worldly story. I did so much in my lifetime. But the same hand that created all that art today sat down to a real piano. I mean, these electrical things, I've been playing with them a long time. That, it's like you holding a newborn baby in your arms and knowing that it's going to survive and live. That was the weave basket. Did you hear that story?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, man.
Went beyond Moses. Like Moses said, come on, tell them about the reed baskets. Tell them about the reed boats.
Yeah,
before the reed ships.
You gonna hit the piano again? Or is that enough?
I'm just feeling happy right now. This is the true feeling, man, if you ain't never felt it before. I always went to church with Mama, and Mama said, you just gotta sit there and wait. I told her, I said, I can't feel it, Mama, I can't feel it. And when that lady looked at Mama, my grandma was turning 90 something. She walked in this church with her white dress on. Mama had a peace stain on her dress. And that lady looked at Mama and kicked her nose up, and I couldn't help it. I always wanted to sing in the church. I did. I wanted to sing in the church. I really wanted to. I wanted to sing so bad.
Church is too small for you, man.
Swift got a hold to it and told me that I was beyond the church. He thought that I was beyond the church. He thought that I had a music that could reach the world or be a part of the universe.
The church ain't big enough for you, man. And I just remember, even now, I get emotional thinking about it. It was like they got each other. You know, like Swift, whatever it was about Swift's life, just listening to Lonnie. He didn't interrupt him. He didn't try to cheer him up. He just let Lonnie testify.
And I was there thinking that it would take me doing that in that little small perimeter that's called a church. And I was wrong. And I was really wrong.
Had to come all the way up almost to the edge of America to do this. I didn't know what to expect. Cottage Grove.
I think it was just kind of this unspoken or maybe spoken feeling like, okay, we're gonna get these two back together at some point. One day was not enough, and maybe next time we get them back together, we bring some players in to where it's just not the two.
On the second trip that we came out, I brought Ben Sollee and I brought Marshall Ruffin. Marshall was on the guitar and Ben was on the cello.
And so that became the crew early the next year.
You ready, buddy?
Mm-hmm.
You call my name. You call my name. All right, sorted? Ready.
Yesterday! Yeah, nothing at the
Lonnie's always comfortable making art. It seems like he's like a faucet. It's just on all the time, which is inspiring.
So putting Lonnie in a studio is really just like one long exposure picture of his creativity. And I think that's what you can hear on these tracks.
You let me go. You wanted me to know.
Swift was so in his element in his studio, and he could play every instrument, and his confidence, ease in that environment was obvious. It made me, and I think all of us, comfortable and willing to feel safe enough to improvise, because that's what we were all doing. It's what everybody does when they're with Lonnie, is improvise.
Everything's being created on the spot. You don't know what key you're going to play in before the song starts. You don't know what the song's going to be about. All you know is that it's likely to be on the black keys of the piano, and that it's going to take a lot of twists and turns, and there's going to be very human, genuine rises and falls in it. And that's pretty much all you know. And that's pretty much all you know about life.
Had these words to say, said you didn't want me no more.
And he would do a little something like, Ben, get on this, Swift, get on this. And like, they would find their little moment in it and just like lay something to tape, which is very much Richard Swift's MO. Let's not use 5 mics. Let's use 2 mics to get everybody, and that's that. It's really inspired to watch, and you could just tell Swift was loving it.
Any moment, music could break out, and Richard would rush over and put the mics wherever the music was happening.
Give you all my money, everything I had.
And what I remember from that first day is how quickly they were just burning through songs.
Got a lot going on in here. We buzzing like bees. You know how much water it takes to make a tear drop? Do you know how much water it takes for a man to cry?
Art isn't a fucking competition, man. It's supposed to be like a little group of people that are on the hunt. They're all hunting the same thing, and the thing is that feeling that makes us want to go on the hunt again. So Swift always seemed like he was facilitating that.
Slipping away, slipping away.
Seemed very positive. We could have this free exchange of creative ideas, and then I leave town to fly away, and then that, like, moments later, the coin is totally flipped.
You can tell me when, sir.
We're rolling, buddy.
We rolling?
Yeah.
I kept thinking I was hearing my phone, and I finally woke up, and must have been about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and Ben and Marshall were gone, headed back to Portland to catch their flight, and I looked over and Eric's bed was empty. And I looked at my phone and I had some text from Eric.
4 in the morning, I get a text or call that wakes me up. It's Swift. It says, Deines, I'm in jail and I need you to come bail me out of jail. And I was like, oh, okay, dude, I'll be right there.
It turns out that night after we had all gone out on Ben and Marshall's last night and went out and had some dinner and had a few beers, and we all left. Swift stayed out a little bit longer, and on his way home, some police stopped Swift on the street. He was walking with his wife, and for whatever reason, the police jumped on Swift and tased tased him, and they had locked him up, and Eric was at the police station.
The next thing we knew, the next day, he had explained to us how he had been tased 2 or 3 times and beaten by the officers in the Cottage Grove area. And I think that affected him for the rest of his life.
By the time Swift wakes up, we get in the session. You can tell Swift is in his own head a little bit. He's distraught about it. Things aren't going well.
You know, he was there in body, but it was he was not present with us emotionally and physically. He was, you know, he kept trying to lie down and stretch out his back. And
As much as I'm picking up on it and telling it to you, I'm picking up on it because I'm picking up on Lonnie picking up on it.
That's for you. Look, you're my brother, you know that. I done been tased by police officers in Hoppersville, and they almost beat me to death. That really put not only the fear of God in you, it put the fear of your fellow man. So when he got back in the studio, this was something that we had to get past, and we just couldn't get past it.
But Lonnie took Swift and was like, Richard, come over to the table, and made Swift close his eyes, and Lonnie started talking him through. Lonnie knew from experience how to overcome this kind of pain.
We did a piece of art. I wanted to kind of get beneath his emotions and bring him back up to the point of what one would say, this is your standard, this is where you are. But after that beating and after that being tased like that, I had to cry about it because I had experienced it. And I know what tasers do to you. Start looking at the paper through your eyelids. Focus on your feeling and your emotion. That morning or that night has separated him. It totally separated him from who he were and what he was to accomplish. And I don't know how long it takes some people to get back to that frame of thought, but a lot of time, a lot of us never get back to that. That's one of the lowest level of brain abuse that we can ever receive. Put the breast back into the jaw. Sink the jaw. Put it down, hands down, eyes open. You did 4 sheets of art.
Oh, really? That's amazing.
You could turn these sheets up that way, down that way. Mm-hmm. I want you to place them how you going to want them to remain. You place them on that sheet now for us to get up and look at. You're placing them, you're the curator now. And when you walk away from it, that's what we're going to look at. Think about it, because it's like a puzzle for you right now.
How's that, Lonnie?
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, walk away from it. Excuse me, guys. Y'all take a look at this work of art.
It was so funny. He like opened his eyes and he looked down and he goes, "Oh shit, this is what it looks like when I make art with my eyes open." And it was like just this self-deprecating moment. Like he was mad at it. And I was just like, man, too good, too heavy. Such a display of like a unique personality.
It was just like, okay, we're done. Let's go back to making music.
You have to take a real good mind like Swift to bring it.
That's Swift's song.
Oh, that's Swift's song.
Do the rock out. Do the rock out.
that moment, 6 months earlier, after pouring himself out in front of a piano and having to dredge up the memories of his mother and his grandmother and his grandfather and his ancestry and being sort of emotionally spent, Lonnie needed Swift. He needed somebody to tell him it's going to be okay. And Swift was there for him. And so 6 months later, the tables were turned. And Swift had this experience, but none of us were capable of giving Swift what Lonnie was capable of giving him.
We got a chance to become like brothers.
Get it out in the realm of voodoo, hoodoo. Get it out from the mystical and then bring it to you. We're beyond hoodoo and voodoo. We're in the realm of you do and I do.
Who do I make music for? I mostly make music for the spiritual realm.
Because it's for humanity. After we dead and gone, it gonna be good. You hear me, Mr. Man? It gonna be good. That's the only thing I want out of all you all.
They're a great document of these two dudes who may well have not have met on this planet, like coming together for these two weird spiritual engagements.
We're always gonna be for one another. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I may not be able to sit here in this room with you,
Yeah.
but spiritually,
Yeah.
spiritually, you the word and I'm the word. And all you gotta do is call upon it. And you know it's something else, bro. You know it's something else.
It was not about our exterior. It was about the music that we was about to put in to this orbit of ours, the big universe. It was like he knew that we were finna put something out that was going to one day take its place on the thrones of the universe. I didn't know what people were going to think about me and my music. And then we go back and show our teacher, I achieved this for you. Because I didn't know how I achieved it for my family members. But you brought it out. And you laid it out on the line. And as far as where Richard Swift is concerned, I want to say thumbs up for Mother Universe and to the spiritual realm that you're in. I want to say thumbs up for it.
That's great, Lonnie. Come in.
In it too deep.